Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Zachariah Connor, and today we're going through all my guitars. I'm just going to be showing you guys kind of some cool things about them, kind of what I think of them. Today we're going to be looking at my Fender Player Series Stratocaster. This is the first Stratocaster I've ever owned, and it's really, really awesome. And it has a great blend of modern and vintage features, and I'm going to show you them today. So kind of the story of this guitar, this is probably like my least modded guitar aside from my new Gretsch that I just got, which you can see in another video on my channel. This guitar I bought a couple years ago online from Reverb, or from Chicago Music Exchange off Reverb. They had just come out with the Player Series, and seeing the blend of the features and hearing the demos and the way it sounded, I thought, wow, that would be a really great guitar to add to my arsenal. Plus, I've been wanting a yellow Strat forever, so it's a really cool kind of, can't remember what they call this yellow, but it's really nice looking. The finish isn't too thick. You can kind of see the wood underneath, see the alder underneath, and but yeah, let's go through some of those features and talk about them. So first of all, it's just got an alder body, just like your normal Stratocaster, so no surprises there, with the standard trim system in the back, 4-bolt neck joint, one-piece maple neck with a skunk stripe in the back for the truss rod. It's got your Fender tuners, same as they've been in the standard series for a long time. They're not locking, but they're pretty good. They work fine. It's got a string, just a butterfly string tree. The neck is really cool, actually. It's pretty, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got a lot of bird's eye in it. And this is kind of, I just kind of bought this sight unseen. I had no idea it was going to be like this, so this is really, really cool that I ended up with one that has such cool figuring. And it's, it was just $650. I didn't pay extra for the flaming, for the bird's eye or anything. So the back is satin finish, the front is gloss. The pickups are new, designed for, I think what was it, 2018. So previously on these guitars, they used non-magnetized pole pieces with ceramic bar magnets underneath. In the Mexican Standard Series. Now those pickups sounded fine, they weren't bad, but these are the real deal. These are actually Alnico magnetized pole pieces, so it's a real Fender pickup. It's just like ones that would have been made in the 50s or the 60s in terms of construction and magnets. Obviously they're not super vintage spec, they're voiced to be a little bit more modern, but they still got plenty of top end, and they got a little more output than the vintage ones too. It's got a 2-point trim system, so that's really nice. So the American Standard Series had them for a couple of years, which is now the American Professional, but now the Player Series has them. Which is incredible because it means that you can do big dives and it still stays in tune, which I like. And it's got a 5-way switch. This is added, and I'll talk about that in a minute. You just got volume, tone, but the nice thing is this tone knob is now linked to the bridge pickup. So you can actually darken up the bridge pickup independently of the other ones, or at all, because vintage Strats, this was for the middle pickup and this was for the neck, and you didn't get one for the bridge pickup. So now this one's for the bridge, this one's for these two, so that's a really handy feature. So let's talk about the mods that I did. So I did the David Gilmour mod, so I added this switch to turn on the neck pickup or the bridge pickup. Turn on the neck pickup in positions 4 and 5 or 1 and 2. So when you have the bridge and the middle pickup on, if you flip this down, then that turns on the neck pickup too. So you have all three in this position, and then in the bridge position you have the bridge and the neck, which is a position that you normally wouldn't, that's a sound you wouldn't be able to hear in the Strat. So it changes the number of sounds that you can get out of the guitar from 5 to 7. And especially useful is that sound of the neck and the bridge pickup. It sounds like a telly. It's really handy to have in this guitar. It means I can take one guitar and get a lot more versatility out of it. And it's already a really versatile guitar to begin with. But yeah, again, it's also got 22 frets, so it's got the little fretboard extension there, which is nice. Let's talk about kind of playability and the subjectiveness of this guitar. So, from a fit and finish standpoint, it's pretty good. There's no finish flaws on the body. It's a solid color, so you kind of expect that, especially at this price point. Things fit together well. The pickguard looked great until I screwed a hole and screwed it up. All the metal parts look fantastic. I have no qualms about the finish. Where the finish, I started to not like it, was kind of on the fretboard and kind of around the finishing of the frets. And so if this is something that turns you off, maybe look into the rosewood one. I don't really particularly care for the gloss on the fretboard, especially with these frets. It has modern medium jumbo frets, so they're a bit wider than the vintage frets that are on my Jazzmaster, and that's fine down here. I don't really care because my fingers aren't anywhere near the fret. But when I get up here, my finger is definitely touching the fret, and the frets aren't really tall enough for my finger to kind of clear the fretboard. So if I'm pressing down, I can definitely feel kind of the fretboard underneath, and I kind of like the feel of a unfinished maple or satin finished maple or rosewood fretboard as opposed to the lacquer, which can be kind of sticky. So that's kind of my dislike, is I just don't really like the frets and the fretboard, but that's kind of on me for not playing this guitar and thinking more about that. But overall, I really like the sound of it. I'll play it for you and shut up in a minute, but basically the pickups are really nice because they get the Strat vibe and they get the Strat tone, but it's not so bright that it hurts like a vintage model like Fender's Classic Series or their Ventera Series or American Original or American Vintage. It really does like work well with like, you know, my Jazzmaster and my Tele, which have like the vintage Tele and Jazzmaster style pickups. But this guitar works well next to those guitars, and I don't find myself having to adjust settings. So that's a huge blessing. Whereas if I got like the Classic Series or Ventera Series, it would have been a little bit different. Those guitars are substantially brighter. But you couldn't really tell unless you played them side by side. So, but that means that the bridge pickup is, you know, meaty enough to play rock on and not really have to worry, not feel like, oh crap, I really wish I had the humbucker, you know. But yeah, let's get into some sound samples. We'll run through all the pickups and I'll show you this handy dandy guy. We're gonna start, we're using my pedal board. Again, if you watch any of my other videos, doing the same thing, you'll have already heard the spiel. We'll start up on the neck pickup. Alright, so that was a look at my 2018 Fender Player Series Stratocaster. If you're in the market for a Strat, I highly recommend buying this one. You can get some used for probably around $500 now, which is kind of a steal because they sell new for $650 for the maple fretboard single pickup configuration. But as you can see, this guitar is really versatile. It sounds great for rock stuff, praise and worship stuff, ambient stuff, funk stuff. It really can do it all. And even though it doesn't have the bridge humbucker, honestly, like if you learn how to set up your rig so your overdrive sounds great with single coils, you don't really miss it. And that's kind of the thing that I've kind of learned over the years, is I don't really need a humbucker to rock out, and I also don't need single coils to play ambient stuff. Is that kind of, depending on how you set up your rig, you can really do whatever you want. But yeah, it's been good. It's been real good. If you want to see more guitar related content, please subscribe, follow me on Instagram.